Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Don Devore. And this one's in response to should we boycott AI generated music, a video I did in May 2023. And Don writes, bro, you are spot on with the live music making money. Streaming doesn't pay anything. Streaming should be one of your multiple sources of income for artists, along with merchandise sales, Bandcamp downloads, ad revenue, if any, live shows, teaching, consulting, studio work, and anything else you can think about. I've said this for a long time, that artists don't make any money by recording. It's a point of where we are now, and the way that tech makes copyright infringement much more easier to achieve. Now that's bridged by the fact that we now have streaming platforms, so people are quite prepared to pay the $8.99 for Spotify per month for those particular platforms. But the reality is that means you're not buying a CD, which means that you're not remunerating the artist in the way that a CD, cassette or vinyl proposition would have done in the past. And I'm completely in agreement that you need to generate multiple streams of income to be able to earn a living as an artist nowadays. If you want to earn more than a living, you need to be out on the road playing music at appropriately sized venues. But, you know, being a musician can be a very hand-to-mouth business some months, which is why people give up the dream and get a job, which somebody once told me was just over broke, which doesn't allow them to concentrate on what their primary love is, which is being an artist. Now, many people ask me why I don't go full-time on the channel, and basically that is the nub of the question. The reason I'm not full-time on the channel is because there's not enough income from the channel or the multiple streams that the channel gets to actually make it a job for me. Hence the reason why, you know, I do have YouTube. You can sponsor me through YouTube. You can sponsor me through Patreon. I have limited sponsorship every now and then. But in order to live, I need a job. So that's the reason why, but it's exactly the same. You've got to have multiple, and until you build those multiple streams of income up so that you can give up the job and do something you're really passionate about full time, guess what? You still need to earn a living. Next comment or question comes from Live Lopez in response to recurring Roland MX1 questions, a video I did in November 2021. So I've not really used my MX1 much since I bought it last year until recently. I really like it, but have no audio since I connected it to my MacBook. From what I can see, it's in mix mode, but there's no sound, no LED movement in or out. Have you seen this? Am I going to have to return it for repair? Well, first of all, I don't understand why you're not getting any audio. I'm assuming that this is into the Mac from the devices connected to the Roland MX1. Now, there are two things that come to mind when somebody says this to me. Have you got the MX1 drivers loaded onto your Mac? And are they correct drivers for your flavour of Mac OS? Also, when you loaded the drivers, did you go into the security settings and click the option to allow software from Roland to operate on your Mac? If you don't do this after 30 minutes, it will block all software from that particular author. If it has not been done, if you did not do that when you went through the driver install, then you'll have to uninstall the driver, reboot the Mac, and then reinstall the driver. But this time, remember to go into the security settings, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, but that's how it's done. If you don't do that within 30 minutes of loading the driver on the second time, you'll end up with it being blocked again, and then have to go through the whole process yet again. The second thing is, do you have the latest firmware on the MX1? The base release needs to be updated to the latest release. Now, hopefully, if you only bought it a year before you sent this question in to me, then it should be on a later version of the firmware, but it depends on whether you've got old stock or new stock. But anyway, any instructions, it needs to be updated. There are a couple of videos on the channel that show you how to find the firmware and also how to update the firmware. So if I remember correctly, I'll put a link to those below the question. And a final thought on this little mixer, you might want to try and do a factory reset. I've said it time and time again against the ARIA and boutique products, doing a factory reset seems to fix a multitude of ailments. Why? Because they're all software driven. If the software gets its knickers in a twist, then nothing you do will sort it out until you do a factory reset. Don't know why, but that's how it works. And doing a factory reset, the amount of times that has solved a problem I have been wrestling with for hours and sometimes days, and then kick myself for not doing a factory reset straight out of the box. But that's how it is. And again, there is a video on the channel that shows you how to do that as well. So if I remember, I'll put links to all those 3 videos under this particular video, just in case somebody else wants to do it.